Thank you. John, thank you very much for organizing tonight, for inviting us. Very pleased to be here. I'm Charles Clarkson. I'm chairman of uReveal. Very pleased to be part of the evening and a chance to talk about what we do. I also want to thank our sponsors, Morgan Stanley, our friends at Morgan Stanley. Thank you very much. Cooley actually does our patent work, so we're very thankful for them, but this is the first time we get any benefits out of the New York office, though. And Box, we thank you for sponsoring, so it's a great evening. And before I really kick off, I want to identify Ren Mohan, whose name is on all 13 patents. He's the founder and really is what, I suppose in many ways, is the real reason why we're here. As you can see, we're a company that data management and advanced analytic platform. But our tagline, solving the unsolvable, I'm going to quickly go over 3 elements that relate to that, and then I'm going to turn it over to our business executive VP of Business Development, Jeff Chin, who we're very excited to join us from NetApp. Let me ask on solving the unsolvable, just test the room. How many of you are familiar, you know what ETL, or have a good idea what ETL is in terms of? Good. How many of you have computer science degrees or advanced degrees in computer science? Okay, you guys are going to be a problem. You're going to say, we can't do what we do. We've had a lot of experience of PhDs standing up in rooms and say, you can't do it. But of course, when they do it, they're usually talking to our clients who are already doing it. We're founded in Jacksonville, Florida. We have a significant presence in Washington, D.C., significant presence now in Chicago. It's been privately funded, internally funded, more than 20 million at this point. 20 plus employees, a good chunk of those are development. We've been very focused on developing the product, and we're at the stage now where we're going to be really ramping up the sales and marketing, which is why we're so excited that Jeff and Sue, who I'll introduce later, have joined us. 40 clients, federal agencies, significant federal agencies. Actually, some of those agencies are taking us to new levels. In fact, on one of the things I'll touch on, we've solved a problem for them that they didn't think was solvable, sort of a new problem as far as harmonization is concerned. Customers are like fusion centers from Boston to Florida to Texas, big, places like Houston. Gates Foundation uses us for behavior analytics, security, and other elements. We're very excited about recently Carnegie Mellon has included us in their big data course, and this is really for undergraduates. But the head of the department and 2 of his associates spent 3 days with our development people, and they basically said they've never seen anything like what we have, and that's why they're so excited to incorporate it into their course, and they just started this month, actually. The current paradigm in data is you got data and the analyst, but in between is a very expensive, complicated process. So that's where the data normalization, ETL, happens. So the group that raised their hands, I'm now going to annoy you because we bypass ETL. We do not do ETL, we bypass it. We deal with the data directly. As you can see, our solution where we allow the user to deal directly with the data, and by bypassing many of those significant expensive processes, we're dramatic reduction in cost, dramatic reduction in time, and a dramatic increase in accuracy in the fraud area. Elsewhere, we dramatically reduce false positives. One of the things I like to talk about is with 4 hours of experience or training with us, and if you can use Microsoft Outlook, we can make you a data scientist. And the best exhibits I have are in the room here from our team that was here for some meetings we had today. One majored in sociology. I'm not going to mention your name, Eric. Luke majored in journalism, and Dylan majored in political science. You'll see they all have computers tonight, and they can do the demos for you on the fly whenever you want. But that is a breakthrough. We are saying that the average person can become a data scientist, and we're not saying it, we're showing it and we're proving it. Jeff will talk a little bit more about the cost savings. One of the other major issues that we've solved that's unsolvable is what we call data harmonization, and actually one of the agencies in Washington has taken us to a level of such precision on harmonization that we filed another patent with Cooley. this was a project that we did with Microsoft. Microsoft was the lead, and we were originally part of it as the back-end analytics. And their job, there were 18 different data sets, and they were trying to merge them, harmonize them, map them into one view. They spent a couple $100,000 in 6 weeks, couldn't do it, came to us, and within 2 days, and the help of a subject matter expert, we harmonized it into one view. It's obviously from an analytic point of view, being able to harmonize the data into one picture, so you're just dealing with that view to find what you think is relevant, is a major step. At this point, I'm very happy to introduce Jeff Chin, who is recently with NetApp. He was manager of big data solutions for NetApp. Yeah. And we're very excited about his experience. He's done hundreds of big data solutions. And
did 100 last year.
Yeah, okay. I'll let him tell you about how he got involved with us.
Great.
Let's see, we got to do this high tech.
Thanks, Bucky.
While he's getting it assembled, I also want to mention Sue Levin. He's bringing the rocket fuel, and already he's brought some additional rocket fuel, and Sue Levin, who's joining us from Axiom, and before that was 15 years with Dun & Bradstreet. So, thanks. Okay.
Thanks, Charles. All right, so everyone in the room has heard of big data? Anyone not? Don't embarrass you. Okay. And how many of you have implemented or used a big data solution? Raise your hand. All right. So, everyone's heard of it. It is going to be, by the year 2020, big data will be 95% of the overall data out there, right? 95% of all data will be big data based or unstructured. So there's certainly a lot of demand, right? Right now it's $11.4 billion industry. And what the challenge has been is we have so much demand, meaning everyone heard about it, everyone knows it's great, and then only a handful of people have implemented it. So what we're going to do today in about 5 to 7 minutes is turn everyone in this room into someone that is the 1% of the planet, right? And that is, what is big data? What can it do? How much does it cost? And how long does it take? Right? We hold customers hostage all the time with this, and they bring us in, we do presentation after presentation, and all they want to know is how much does it cost, how long does it take, and what does it do for them, right? So we'll be able to do that in a couple minutes. And it really reflects the power of the product. That's why it's so exciting for us to bring it out, right? So I'm going to show you a little bit about the traditional approach, and the reason why I want to show you this is what anyone that's trying to implement a big data solution today has to deal with, right? So you pick your tools. I usually tell my customers pick 12 because you need one from every bucket, right? Then we build on our application layer, and we link these 12 together, right? So then we put a hardware layer on top of that ties all the applications together, right? And then we build a process. This is where we actually start solving the problem. So they get a little bit excited. And then all they really want, then we take their custom applications, we tie it into right there. I'm not picking on Hadoop, but we have a Hadoop core, HDFS, right? And then we run our engines behind that. Then we run our MapReduce with our data warehousing layer. And then we can build a visualization application segment to it. And all the customer really wants to do is that little red arrow, right? Outcomes. That's all I care about, right? So after you do all this, it still doesn't solve the fact that these customers have Oracle, SAP, things that they've been working with for decades that they don't have any access to, right? So, does it sound expensive? Anyone? Does it sound complicated? All right, so this year's messaging from the big data community is going to be simplification, right? Because the adoption rate is dismally low at 6% with 60% demand. So the simplification doesn't answer the fundamentals, which is expense and complexity. But they're going to say it's simple to you because they're just going to tie all this together and kind of hide it from you, right? And it also takes away a lot of the flexibility. So What do we do that's different? Well, you can do all that, or you could run what we call uReveal, right? It's source pure analytic access. So we're not here to take over the big data world, right? We don't need to do that. We provide access to big data analytics, leveraging your existing infrastructure, leveraging your existing workforce talent, and leveraging your existing understanding of how you want to manage your data. All right? So this is, no one else can do this. And that's why it's so exciting. So we're just going to break it down briefly. So pure, in essence, is saying is we don't touch the data, right? We don't touch the data. We don't manipulate the data. That means we can do anything. We can, for the gentleman that came over from France, we can read the data in French. We can read misspelled words. We can read slang. It doesn't matter because it's all pure and untouched. And we can understand semantics. So when you say, I looked up in the dictionary, set has 464 meanings to it, right? So how are you supposed to figure that out, right? The second thing is source, right? So we're ubiquitous on source. It could be, you could own it. It could be in the cloud. It doesn't matter, right? So that is the second part. And the third part is the analytics, right? We can do analytics. We can use your existing analytics, or if you have a big data infrastructure and you want to have an analytics package you like, we can always use that. But what we're delivering to them is truly accurate information based purely off the source. And once you do that, then you have all these links and all these holistic ways that you can look at using that information, right? And then you can make it self-learning. So that's another key part, right? And that really comes down to access, okay? So we literally hold the keys to the kingdom to big data adoptability, right? And the keys to the kingdom are only $75,000 per core per year. So we keep the cost low because we don't have to pay, 1 petabyte Hadoop cluster running all those things there costs $15 million to stand up. It costs another $30 million to operate and run. And then that doesn't include overhead, data transmission, and things like that. We're saying $75K, we don't need the overhead. We're going to pass that savings on to the customer, as long as they see the value there. So that's all we had. If there's any questions, we're excited to talk about you, any ideas, and depending on your role, but we're here to provide a non-disruptive, agnostic approach to adopt that big data environment and go from 6% and take up that extra 54% of demand that's here this year to hit the $11 billion business. Thanks a lot. Any good questions? Do you want to do questions or?
Yeah.
Any questions? Yeah, go ahead.
How do you access all the data that you said you can do a cloud, on-prem? So how do you actually go in and gain access?
So we go in and scan the information, and we don't extract or I'm not picking on MapBar, Pivotal, MongoDB, anything big data related. They have to manipulate and change that data through ETL, and that's why Charles brought it up, through extract, transform, and load process to make it digestible by a Hadoop cluster or anything else in big data, right? So we're not standing up this environment, right? It's crazy. So if you're redundant already, then you stand up another environment and you spend so much money transforming that environment, you got to stand up another redundancy for that. And on top of that, you got to pay for the data charges to move all that information over. And if you're not redundant, if you got junk data that you don't care about, like Twitter feeds, who cares if you get it tomorrow or next month, right? So you have to make that redundant as well, right? So there's a lot of penalties for reinventing the wheel, in essence, to stand up these environments. That make sense? Question? Yeah. Oh, yeah. So we didn't do a demo on purpose because once people get into it, it's going to take longer than 15 minutes.
Well, no, I think you can do it quick.
Is that okay?
Do like 2 minutes because we're
2-minute demo.
just like
All
drop
right.
products and show some.
All right, so real quick, we'll do a quick live demo.
Yeah. You just keep going.
Under 5, got it. All right, so what we have.
Political science major.
Yeah,
He
thank you.
graduated in.
Hi, Cy.
Yeah,
/ data scientist.
yeah, really. That's fine. All right, so what we have here is live data or actual data from Jacksonville Sheriff's Office. And so they're looking for an example of, this is the wrong work, oh, there we go. We're looking for a suspect who is known to have gang affiliation, carry a silver handgun, and is known to be hostile towards police. So using actual data, we're going to go ahead and pull in concepts that we use to kind of search the data. So we have a concept for silver handgun, which includes all makes and models of handguns. It includes, if I can get this in there, there we go. It includes all words for silver, whether it's chrome, shiny, and then we can go and pull in our gang references, which includes a database of national as well as local gangs to Jacksonville. And then we're going to pull in what we call behavioral analytics for hostility towards police, which is, if you can see here, we're looking for words like struggle, fight, kill, within a certain number of words of officer, cop, so on and so forth. And so then we're going to choose our data source. In this case, we're going to use data from network drives, RSS feeds, and structured databases. You know, you can do Twitter feeds, web pages, email files, PDF, Word, text files. Basically, any data source you have, you can bring it in and have it be part of your analysis. Then we're going to look for the where all 3 concepts are met in one document. So you can see here we're outlaying the, if I can expand this real quick. You're seeing where each of the concepts kind of intersects with one another. And then we're going to find where all 3 of them intersect in one document. And I'll go in and I'll show you actually what's being hit by the concepts.
So what's great about this is that we're taking the big data stuff like the Twitter feeds, but we're also taking SQL and Oracle databases. So if you go to somebody and say, hey, you have to fire all your database admins, your software developers, and hire data scientists and Hadoop engineers, you don't have to do that anymore, right? They can just use this as simple as Dylan's using it.
So basically, you see here, we see handgun make Desert Eagle. We see chrome plated to satisfy the silver. We see local Jacksonville gang, Evergreen Boys. And we see this kind of behavioral analytics here, where we have a suspect who's struggling with officers to put on handcuffs on him. So we see all 3 of these concepts being met. And we're going down and highlighting for you where they're being met.